Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. 9 All-Star games between those guys combined. 6 of them belong to Clayton Kershaw, who faces off today with this man, Johnny Cueto. Third outing against the Dodgers this year. Comes here in Game 3 of this series. The Giants taking the first 2, 8-4, and then 2-1 last night. The Dodgers starting lineup as they try to salvage the finale is brought to you by Honda. For the first time this year, Chase Utley leads things off. Corey Seager's back in the starting lineup. So is Cody Bellinger. So is Yasmani Grandal. Chris Taylor, a solo homer last night, accounting for the Dodgers scoring. Jock Peterson's in center and Yasiel Puig is in right. The month of April was one of the worst of Johnny Cueto's career. Had an ERA above 5, but it came out near the end of the month that he was dealing with a blister. Said, though, they're going to have to take him out on a gurney if they're going to get him out with a blister problem. And as it started to heal up, the number's much better lately.
He's one of the top strike throwers in the big leagues, just like Clayton Kershaw. Also gets a high chase percentage in the very first pitch, and I think that's because hitters try and attack him early so they don't get to all the different deliveries that he has when he tries to upset timing. Really can't upset your timing if it's on the very first pitch.
6 innings against the Dodgers in late April. 7 innings against the Dodgers May 1st. Allowed 3 runs in both of those games. So here we go on a gorgeous day for baseball. He starts Chase Utley with a 2-seam fastball that dives away. Closed captioning tonight brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Now, Chase was the primary leadoff man last year. Only time in his career that that's been the case. This year it was Andrew Toles that was handling the leadoff duties against right-handed pitching. With Toles with the injury, Jock Peterson has not been great leading off against right-handed pitching, so Utley gets a chance today and takes a strike.
3 different deliveries from Cueto already. 3 different stances from Chase Utley. Turnabout's fair play.
Pulls it softly to first. Michael Morse is there to feed Cueto for the first out. Giants have won 5 in a row after a 12-24 start. They had them with the worst record in baseball, but they've gotten healthy, at least somewhat, getting Span back, getting Crawford back, and the bullpen's been better over the last week or so.
The Dodgers are the only team that the Giants have a winning record against. It seems like they rise to the occasion in this rivalry.
6 of their 17 wins have come against the Dodgers. Corey Seager stands in. Goes after the first pitch and singles to right center. So the Dodgers have their first base runner of the day, and his mastery of Cueto continues.
Broke Chase Utley's bat on the inside, and Corey Seager uses the end of his bat to get this hit. Just kind of flares it.
It brings up Turner. Dodgers 2-4 on this trip. It started in Colorado. They had won the final 5 games leading up to that trip. So trying to get back on track here. Turner takes ball 1. Trying to avoid their first 4-game losing streak of the year. This matches the season-long skid that they had in mid-April. Turner yanks one, that's fair, and trickles past the bullpen. Corey Seager heads to third. Turner on his way to second with a double, and the Dodgers in business in the first.
Two balls that are very well placed. This one not hit that hard. Doesn't even find its way down into the corner. Just kind of makes it to the Giant bullpen. They'll take it right now, and with the table set with second and third, they've got to do something different than yesterday where they were 0-for with runners in scoring position.
And that 2-1 loss, but again, Seager, Bellinger, Grandal were all out of the lineup yesterday. A little more potent lineup on paper and hopefully in reality today too. Bellinger looks at ball one. First time he saw Johnny Cueto, he went 0 for 4, struck out several times. But saw him again and ripped a double against him off of the wall at Dodger Stadium. One and one.
When Cueto saw him the first time, he was right on top of the plate. He's now made an adjustment and moved off the plate a few inches. So Cueto is looking at a slightly different perspective of Bellinger in the box.
Pop back, it's 1 and 2. Bellinger said, you know, the first time you face him, you can watch all the tape in the world. You can go through all the hitters' meetings possible. But nothing prepares you for facing the different windups and the different tempo other than actually getting in there and experiencing it.
A little easier when he's in the stretch because he has to come set.
That's outside, 2 and 2.
Even in the stretch, he will still vary his leg kick as far as a high and twisting one or a shorter, quicker one. Pitch cast has that outside.
Bellinger more RBIs than anybody in baseball in the month of May. 17 of them. Has runners at second and third with 1 out. And waits on this 2-2 from Cueto. Just barely got a piece to stay alive.
Change up right there at 83 miles an hour. Bellinger just getting a nick of it. Cueto struggled a little bit with changeup location this year, getting it up a little bit more. He's slowing him down and gone outside twice. That probably go to that inside up and in fastball.
Took it low, full count.
Interesting, a little deep target from Buster Posey, giving the up and in fastball target, but they came low and in. Been very crafty back there lately. Man on second, always making sure that signs aren't being relayed.
A full count pitch, and Bellinger protects it. It'll stay 3 and 2. 21-year-old out of Arizona. Major league debut in this ballpark less than a month ago now. Facing the 31-year-old out of the Dominican, now in his 10th year in the majors. Johnny got ready, then stepped off with Seager at third and Turner at second. That's a big strikeout for Cueto. The bottom drops out of a changeup, 2 out.
Early in the at-bat, established inside and up and hard. Late in the at-bat, went fastballs away and then a few changeups, and that one the bottom dropped out of.
And an opportunity to pitch around first inning traffic here if he can get Grandal, who put his hitting streak on the line with a pinch hit appearance last night and struck out. So the hitting streak ends at a career high, matching 9 games. Posey out to talk about how they'll attack him. Now Spotty's average was teetering around 200. Really rough stretch that he went through early in May and the back half of April. But Dave Roberts had a talk with him. He said, you know what, you aren't yourself right now. You're chasing out of the zone much more frequently than you normally do. And he's been much better since that discussion. Falls behind 0-1. Kind of a good cop, bad cop thing. Dave Roberts and Turner Ward working with Grandal. Dave was pretty firm with his message. Turner was the good cop. Foul tipped, 0-2. Great opportunity for the Dodgers in the first inning with hits from Seager and Turner. Cueto struck out Bellinger and now has Grandal in an 0-2 hole. Here he comes. Fouled off, still 0-2.
Top of the order did their job last night. The bottom of the order from the 5-hole down took an offer. Yasmani here today is the beginning of the 5-hole, the second half of the lineup.
0 for 18, 5 through 9 in the order yesterday. Another 0-2 from Cueto, and Grandal digs it out to the right field corner. That's a fair ball. It bangs past Williamson and allows Grandal to move into second with a 2-run double. A 2-out, 2-strike, 2-bagger for Grandal to begin the scoring.
Same changeup that Bellinger struck out on, but this one's a little bit more in. It drops severely. Good spin on it. Well, that might even been a slider that he pulled in there. But boy, Grandal is a great, powerful, low ball hitter. Only 1 run yesterday, only 4 runs in game 1, both losses here in the first, getting 2.
And in that context, feels like a really, really big swing right there from Grandal. Brings up Chris Taylor, whose home run last night accounted for the Dodgers scoring, tying the game in the 6th inning with a blast to straightaway center field. Been on base in 15 straight. Two 2-0. Yeah, you're losing 3 in a row. Getting an opportunity here in the first inning. It just felt like if Johnny Cueto was able to get out of that jam, might have set up a long day.
There's so many distractions and things that you have to be mentally disciplined if you're a Dodger. Day game after night game doesn't put you in a good mood. 3-game losing streak. The fact that they're getting ready to go home for a 10-day homestand, see their families. It's part of being a professional where you just got to suck it up and put a good effort in and try and get a W, get this thing turned in the other direction.
They've got a lead for Clayton Kershaw to work with before he even steps on the mound. Grandal at second with 2 away. 2 balls and a strike on Chris Taylor. Cueto staring at Grandal and now having a discussion with him. This is no doubt about Cueto thinking Grandal's trying to steal signs.
It sure is. It can get a little personal.
Always is with these two teams, isn't it?
Feed off the energy of the fans.
2-2. Grandal knows about the paranoia of trying to hide those signals. Being a catcher himself, something he talked about at great length during the postseason last year. Cueto home with a 2-2. Taylor fouls back a fastball.
Cueto frustrated. A, gives up the runs. B, knows he's against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw's ERA in this park is 1.36. So 2 almost feels like a loss when those are on the board.
Cueto gets Taylor over the inside corner, but the Dodgers get him for 2. Yasmani Grandal with a big swing with 2 strikes drives home a pair and tees up Clayton Kershaw with a 2-0 lead. First inning lead here in San Francisco, and Clayton Kershaw ready to take the ball against the Giants starting lineup, brought to you by Honda. Denard Span has been a spark plug at the top, but he gets the day off. And Eduardo Nunez bats leadoff. Justin Ruggiano hits second for the first time. Christian Arroyo's the 3-hitter. Then Posey batting cleanup. Michael Morris's first start of the series. Williamson, Panic, and Gorkis Hernandez. Well, it seems like everybody's trying to figure out what's wrong with Clayton Kershaw. But then you look at some of the numbers. The ERA is second best in the National League. The wins trailing only Dallas Keuchel in all of baseball.
It's really hard to believe that we look out at him and you think we're being too hard on him. And a lot of the media and people around the league are. But I'll tell you what, his standards are so high he's even hard on himself. This will be his 9th outing. Only 1 outing has he given up more than 3 earned runs, and that was all of 4.
Came against these guys. Get strike 1 on Nunez. Those 4 runs on 8 hits that he allowed his last time against San Francisco. As a reflection of how dominant he's been against the Giants, those were the most runs and the most hits he's ever allowed against them.
Well, his ERA is 2.43. It's above his career ERA, even though it's second in the National League.
0-2.
Career ERA of 2.37. And, you know, of course, we all know he's been below 2 a couple times in his career for a full year.
Nunez drags it foul, still 0-2. And we're talking about measuring Kershaw. What's wrong with Kershaw? That is comparing it to the Clayton Kershaw you're talking about, who's had sub-2 ERAs. He's the one who set the bar for us to try and nitpick the way we have. He makes quick work of Nunez and begins his afternoon with a strikeout.
Well, fastball away, and everybody opens up. The right-handed hitters on the inner half because that's his dominant pitch, but there he throws a little cutter on the outer half. Even though it was a ball, you got to believe that maybe it'll be a strike because he throws so many.
Here's Justin Ruggiano, who has a home run against Kershaw in his career and takes ball 1. These guys were teammates for a short time in 2015 when Ruggiano was a Dodger. Fastball catches the edge, 1-1.
He gets that pitch all day. Watch out, Giants, because that sets up everything.
Two and 1. That inside corner fastball.
Inside corner fastball, then sets up the inside slider, which he tried to respond with right there, but just left it up. Then the whole outer half is just wide open for him, which he has mastered this year.
Buries one by him, 2-2.
I like the fact that that first slider that he threw there was 84 miles an hour. That's a little slower than it has been. And I think with this Giants team, they hit the firm stuff pretty good. You're going to need to change speeds a little bit.
Back-to-back punch-outs to start the day.
Been up to 94 with the fastball, 84 with the slider, and here's the cutter at 89, just under the swing.
Now 59 strikeouts this year to go along with only 8 walks. 2 up, 2 down, and Christian Arroyo. Goes after the first Kershaw offering, and the sky-high fly ball into right center field. It's Puig to complete a 1-2-3 inning. Needs only 10 pitches, and it included a couple of strikeouts. Inning on to the second. Time for our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. We mentioned it off at the top, but these two guys facing off today, and Kershaw and Cueto, 1-2 in all of baseball since 2012 in ERA. Special matchup on this Wednesday afternoon. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, and Jock Peterson attacking the first pitch that he sees from Cueto. Looking up into that bright sunshine at third, it's Nunez. Cueto in his 10th season now. Most of his career spent in Cincinnati. Went to Kansas City at the deadline in 2015 and won a world championship with the Royals before signing that 6-year contract with the Giants prior to last year. Really odd structure to the deal as Puig climbs in. Joe's bunt takes a strike. He has an opt-out after this year. Ever seen a 6-year deal with a player opt-out after 2?
Must have been the fact that the player's getting the security, and it wasn't the highest financial offer, but they said, you know what, he really wants to play for you, so let's make it a 6-year deal, give the player the security that he can have an option. But if he does really well and feels good because you guys aren't offering him top dollar, he wants to have an out. And the Giants said, yeah, we want him.
He wants us not to talk about him. He's working faster than anybody I've seen this year. 2-2. Now the interesting thing is that he recently said he'd like to finish his career in the American League.
Well, he's negotiating.
Yeah, right. Right before the opt-out even happens. Home with a 2-2. And Puig pulls a rocket down the left field line, foul.
It's a good sign for Yasiel to hit the ball in the air to left field instead of rolling it over to the third baseman or shortstop. Dave Roberts commented on Yasiel. He'd like to run him out there every day. They appreciate his elite defense in right. He knows mechanically he's not sound, but he's working really hard on the swing. Yasiel has been very diligent with Turner Ward and working on his swing, coming out early, working in the cage, hanging with him every moment he can.
Ripped to short, but caught by Arroyo. Results not what he's looking for, but has to be more pleased with the process. 2 out.
For sure. You can never tell what Yasiel's feeling. Just hides his emotions completely.
Yeah, right. At first I'm thinking, really? Am I missing something here?
He's got him on his sleeve.
Kershaw takes a strike.
He's awesome.
In a sport that sometimes tries to squash that.
Yeah.
0-2.
Looking forward to his poker tournament on Monday. Yasiel.
Cueto works a 1-2-3 second against the bottom of the order, almost like a cartoonish pace in that inning from him. First inning on only 10 pitches. 2-0 to the bottom of the second. Dodgers try to salvage a game out of this 3-game series and trying to finish the road trip at 3-4. In what has been a house of horrors for the Dodgers over the last 2+ seasons. They're 6-20 since the beginning of 2015 here. Middle third of the order. Buster Posey, Michael Morse, Mac Williamson. And Posey's been one of the best hitters in baseball this year, especially lately. 5 home runs in his last 8 games. Goes after the first one and a fly ball into short right field. Chris Taylor making the call. 1 pitch, 1 out. Very clearly, that is part of the plan for the Giants today, swinging away at the first strike that they see. Dodger fans, if you know a standout high school senior athlete, nominate them for a chance to be named a Spectrum Sports Championship Drive Scholar Athlete and receive a $2,500 college scholarship. Go to SpectrumChamp.com now for more information. Four outs on 11 pitches for Kershaw. And here is the hulking Michael Morse. Ball one. Mentioned that Johnny Cueto kind of had a cartoonish pace to him last inning. Michael Morse kind of has a cartoonish stance. Cartoon villain.
He sure does. He's got the Hunter Pence pants up above the knees, so he feels comfortable, and the shin guard down on the socks. He's got the long arms that he kind of extends away from his chest. Like, here, I am the hitter.
2 balls, 1 strike. Signed a deal this offseason with the Giants. That's even cartoonish. Little half swing, but signed a deal, struck a deal at Hunter Pence's wedding. He was sitting next to the GM Bobby Evans. Takes inside and is ahead 3-1. He said, all right, let's see what's left in the tank, because he spent most of last year doing this, working for MLB Network. Wanted to give it another shot and had the perfect seating arrangement at the wedding to make that happen. 3-2. Broke his bat on a little flare that reached the seats. Came up against the Dodgers, started this season in AAA, and then was called up in late April. And in his first at-bat, hit a tie-breaking home run in the 8th inning against Pedro Baez. Rehash memories of the 2014 postseason when he was a Giant. And hit a game-tying home run late in what would be the clinching win to send them to the World Series. Travis Ishikawa hitting the famous walk-off home run to win the Giants the pennant. Turns this one around to center. No big deal for Peterson. 5 up and 5 down for Kershaw. Well, the base is empty and 2 outs. It's Mac Williamson. Part of the revolving door of outfielders the Giants have had with the injuries they've experienced out there. Just called up for the start of this series. A fastball puts him behind 0-1.
Everybody in the Giants starting lineup has a batting average against Clayton Kershaw above 200, except for Williamson, hitting 1 for 7, 143 over his career against him.
And that is very much on purpose, because the full team is not above 200. There are guys with some really horrible numbers against Kershaw. You've got Brandon Belt, who is 3 for 51 against him.
Brandon
never play against him again. Yeah.
4 for 32.
1-2.
That's why they slipped the rookie Christian Arroyo in the 3-hole today. He was hitting 500, 3 for 6 coming into the day. Clayton took care of him with the fly ball to Puig.
Span is hitless in 13 at-bats against Kershaw. Kelby Tomlinson hitless in 14 at-bats against him. So really, Bruce Bochy just said, give me the 8 guys that have been the least bad against Kershaw. He's retired the first 6 that he's faced. How about a slider in that sweet spot at 87 miles per hour? Turns with fast pace, pick up and play, big league action packed with all your favorite major league teams and players and parks. You can get it for Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and mobile devices. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Top of the order for the Dodgers. Chase Utley to lead off against Cueto. 1-0. For the first time this year, Chase has hit leadoff. Really, over the last week, he's profiled as a very good leadoff hitter. On base percentage the last week of .524. A roller off the end of the bat that he tugs to second, and Panik throws late after having a hard time digging it out of his glove.
Well, the best thing about this play is Chase Utley never gives up, doesn't assume anything, and you can give up as soon as you see that ball picked up, brought to the waist of a fielder. You got to figure he's going to pull it out of his glove and throw you out, so you ease up. There is no ease up right there.
What do you rule that?
Could be a hit, but I think they'll call it a knee.
Corey Seager takes a strike. They gave it an error. Joe Panik. Either way, leadoff man on. And Seager waiting on an 0-1 that he pops foul. It's 0-2. We take a look at the Land Rover Performance Spotlight. He's hit above .370 against Cueto in his career, and that includes a home run when he faced him here in April.
This was a big time shot. I think this was the longest Dodger home run until
Brett Eibner.
Brett Eibner hit the one in Colorado, was .465.
Seager's was .462. Pulls one to right. Williamson will play it on a bounce. Seager has a two-hit day over the first 3 innings. 2 on and nobody out here in the third.
Looks like Corey Seager needed Johnny Cueto to be on the mound to kind of give him a little confidence and pull out of his slump. Been swinging and missing at a lot of things lately, but has hit 2 off the end. Hasn't hit one hard yet, but he's squaring it up with the end of the bat.
Yeah, both hits had weird sounds.
Like they were hit with balsa wood.
Or Sporting News.
Yeah, well, we're not allowed to say that anymore. I'm not sure it's in print.
It actually is not. I checked that.
Right.
Justin Turner bunts it up along third. Nunez will scoop and throw him out. The 3-hitter Justin Turner lays a bunt down to advance runners to second and third. That is something he no doubt did himself.
Yep, he will get credit for a sacrifice, even though he was attempting to bunt for a hit. Had a chance to do it both ways. Load the bases or get the second and third one out.
His first sacrifice bunt in 2 years.
Cody Bellinger with the same situation he had the last time he was up. As Monty Grandal saved that at bat after Cody struck out.
Inside ball 1. Bellinger looking for his first hit of the series. 0 for 6. A lot of strikeouts on this trip for him. Caught at first by Michael Morse. And he saves 2 runs.
It would have been a much easier play for Brandon Belt because the glove's on the other hand. Morris has to cross over and backhand stab this ball. This line drive is crushed by Cody Bellinger. And this is an outstanding play. Right-handed thrower, crossover, dive. No time to think, just react.
Grandal takes one that's up and in to score is Seager. And you know what? I'm pretty sure that's a message pitch from Cueto that just bit him. Cueto and Grandal had the discussion on the bases last inning, with Cueto accusing Grandal, you would assume, of trying to steal signs. Now he tries to send a message, but instead sends a run across.
He needed to give the message to his catcher, Buster Posey. As we take a look at the Volkswagen replay right there. Posey set up for a low and away, and Cueto throwing it up and in on purpose.
Said Seager scored, Utley scored, and now Seager to third. Grandal pops it off the end of the bat into right center field. Gorkis Hernandez under it. And the inning is over. Well, the Dodgers get one. And Johnny Cueto has some words for the Dodger dugout. He's chirping back. Now Dave Roberts out of the dugout. And here comes everybody else behind him. Sit back and watch Dodgers Giants here.
The whole Dodger bench knew that Cueto was thrown at him on purpose.
Umpiring crew did a great job to get in the middle of that. Clayton Kershaw subtly as well knew that nobody would come after him and walk between the teams back to the mound. One between Yasmani Grandal and Johnny Cueto. It all began when Grandal was on the bases and they begin chirping at each other here. And then the next inning, Grandal comes up and Cueto does this. That allowed a run to come in. The inning finishes and the Dodger dugout lets Cueto know that they disapprove of the way that he handled that with Grandal. Joe Panik looks at strike one from Clayton Kershaw.
Some ways you look at it and you say you don't like it. In other ways, I like the fact that it woke up the Dodgers' emotions when you're in a 3-game losing streak. Nothing like a little bit of an edge to wake you up as you go home after this one for a 10-game homestand. Get the blood boiling a little bit.
Two and one. Giants without a base runner through 2 innings. Kershaw with 3 strikeouts. Panik back in there today after having last night off. Foul tip, strike 2. Softly hit on the left side of the infield. It's Turner to get Panik. One gone.
Clayton Kershaw has his game face on. Look at the bottom left-hand corner. Clayton is just going to come and just start to get ready to pitch. Here he goes. And he's just going to run right between. Okay, let's go, fellas. I'm going to go to the mound. Signal to the Giants and a signal to his own team.
And he knows nobody's coming after him there. Perhaps diffuse the situation a little bit. Gorkis Hernandez with the bases empty and one gone. Fouls it off his foot, and Kershaw really seems to have it all working so far.
Now, the pitches he doesn't have working yet, he is showing and attempting to throw the way he wants to, which is the slider, the fastball to both sides of the plate, and he has attempted a curveball, and it was a really sharp one. Dropped down sidearm a little bit on Panic, at least with the upper body. The arm angle wasn't that low.
And a bunt push foul. It's 0-2.
Was doing his best Rich Hill impersonation.
Rich 5 innings last night. No blister issues afterwards. Showed some really good signs. And his first start in exactly a month.
He wanted to come back out. Dave Roberts thought, let's get him up the tunnel with the blister not showing up, and a good outing.
Late swing protects it, keeps it at 0-2. What did you think overall of what you saw from Hill?
I thought it was outstanding. I think, he pitched through traffic. He created his own chaos in the first inning with the hit batter and the balk, and got through that. Only the one breaking ball to Belt that ends up being the home run. I don't think you can really say that it wasn't a great outing. It would have went from good to great if he'd have gone, let's say, 7 innings, only give up 1. It's a nice solid start. He was really spinning the ball well, so that means the grip pressure on the curveball was good. His best ones were from the land down under.
Kershaw's 1-2. He's down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gorkis Hernandez. Full count.
All of a sudden a little out of sorts out there as far as rhythm. Looks a little jumpy. But again, we just hold him to such high standards. Can't believe he hasn't put him away yet. What's going on here? 3-2 count. He has 8 walks this year. What do you have, 11 all of last year in his abbreviated season?
It's the greatest strikeout to walk ratio in baseball history by far. 172-11. Another payoff to Hernandez. Shatters his bat on a roller to third. Justin Turner picks it off for the second out. Absolutely destroyed that lumber.
This is called in your kitchen. He pulled the hands in and still couldn't get it in away from that ball. Just eats his lunch in there. Clayton has to avoid the bat, and Justin Turner makes the play.
Can't be easy to go after that ball for Turner when you see the barrel of the bat flinging at you. As Cueto comes up and he and Grandal exchange words. That's a strike. When is that done? Like, when do you get to move on, or is this always going to be a thing?
Might be 5 years from now. Might be when one of them ends up on the same team as the other guy. It's not always something you want to get rid of. It's not something you want to have an apology and move on, because sometimes this kind of angst, it's really good for you as a competitor.
Kershaw to Cueto with an 0-2. And a breaking ball tap past the mound is short. 3 ground ball outs in this inning. Clayton Kershaw perfect through 3 with a 3-0 lead. Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new guacamole and bacon chicken sandwich only at Jack in the Box. Put up with some less than perfect weather for the first 2 games of this series and rewarded with a picture book day here for the series finale. 3 runs on 5 hits against Johnny Cueto so far for the Dodgers, getting 2 in the first on a Grandal double and then getting 1 in the third when he threw at Grandal, and it got by Posey to allow Chase Utley to score from third. Speaking of Chase Utley, by the way, they had ruled his ball an error initially, but they've changed that to a hit.
It means when you can't get the ball out of your glove, there wasn't an error, I guess.
Chris Taylor watches a breaking ball back up and miss in, ball 1. Took strike 3 called his first time. Cueto got him with a fastball looking. It's one of 3 punch outs for Johnny, who's in there with strike 1.
Every Dodger hitter will have a little bit more focus the rest of this game. They all will want to knock Johnny Cueto out as soon as possible.
Coming off 4 consecutive quality starts and a season-long 8 innings his last time, and a no decision against Cincinnati Friday. After a rotten month of April dealing with that blister. 2-2 on Taylor.
Giants are 6-2 in his 8 starts, and he is 3-0 this year at AT&T, but down 3-0 here to the best pitcher on the planet.
He's gotten Taylor twice over that inner half. 1 away in the 4th. Tomorrow on an all-new Backstage Dodgers, Jock Peterson visits the Rams facility, and Adrian Gonzalez and Dave Roberts take baseball to Dubai with an off-season kids clinic. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers presented by Hankook Tires tomorrow at 5:30 on Sportsnet LA. Jock Peterson swings and misses, strike 1. Jock popped out on the first pitch that he saw his first time. 1 for 14 lifetime against Cueto. Takes a change, 1-1.
Don't look now, but Jock Peterson's batting average is down to .213. He is looking for some results, coming back off the DL when he looked really good, but boy, he has not found the outfield grass very often lately.
And a lot of times the defense to that is that you don't look at the batting average with Jock, you look at the OPS, on base plus slugging, but that's at a career low right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's hit just 1 home run, came in his 2nd AB of the year, and his on base percentage, which frequently is what kind of nullifies that low average, is only at league average right now. Waiting on a 2-2 from Cueto. Up and in, full count.
Neither side has been warned yet, but there's 2 down for the Dodgers as far as balls up around the neck. Yasmani Grandal got 1, and now Jock got 1. Be interesting if a sheriff shows up in blue later.
Peterson stepping out, asking for time. Now he's back in. And hits a bouncing ball to Joe Panik at second. Got it out of his glove this time and got Peterson 2 out.
He's better friends with Chase Utley than Jock Peterson. Didn't want to give Jock a hit.
Bases empty, 2 gone, and Puiga saw some encouraging things in that first at bat. He lined out to short. He lined the ball just foul down the left field line. Chases here on a pitch that disappears on him. Strike 1. Like Jock has struggled against Cueto. 1 for 13 against the Dominican righty, who's 0-1, is pulled in the ground foul, quickly 0-2. Puig digs that one out, sends it in the air to center. Hernandez back on the edge of the track to catch it and retire the side in the 4th. On to the bottom half. Giants still looking for their first base runner against Kershaw.
Stud in that Bellinger family. Cody's younger brother Cole was able to pitch his high school team to the state championship in Arizona. Cole Bellinger pitched 7 innings, went back out, faced 2 batters, hit a pitch count, and then was taken out of the game, giving up 8 hits, but more importantly winning the state title for his team. He's on his way to Grand Canyon University. He's going to be a different type of guy there, though. He's going to pitch, but he's also going to play the middle of the infield. And Cody, his brother, talked to him this morning, said, you know what, Cole's a really quiet guy, very mild-mannered, but very proud of him, guys.
Awesome. Congratulations to Cole. Eduardo Nunez leading off this 4th against Clayton Kershaw, with the Giants yet to get a hit, yet to get a base runner. Nunez, a strikeout victim his first time. Breaking ball, it's 0-2. We don't know Cole, but we know Cody, and we know that those kids were raised well.
Yeah, Cody has exceptional eye-hand coordination, unbelievably soft hands, but a fantastic personality. Really good kid.
Dad Clay, mom Jennifer. And 0-2. Down and away for ball 1 on Nunez. Clayton Kershaw here in the month of May, where he was so dominant a year ago. He was dominant all year when he was healthy. That month of May especially last year. Positioned perfectly, Chris Taylor has it for the first out of the fourth. Clayton Kershaw in May was 5-0 with a 0.91 last year. How about this strikeout to walk ratio? 65-2 in May alone a year ago. He became the fourth pitcher in the modern era with a sub-1 earned run average and 65 strikeouts in a calendar month. All four occurrences have happened relatively recently. Justin Ruggiano falls behind 0-1. Randy Johnson in June of 1997 had a similar month. Roger Clemens, August of '98. Pedro Martinez, September of '99. Floated towards the middle and a base hit for Ruggiano. First base runner of the game for the Giants comes with one out in the fourth.
I guess this will be our Morongo Casino slow-mo cam, because it's hit about that slow. I'm not sure the ball gets to the outfield in slow-mo. Just a jam shot off the handle. I thought something special was brewing. Shows you how tough it is to be perfect in this game.
Christian Arroyo. I suppose I shouldn't ask over the air, but I'm going to ask, is it okay if I share with them that you thought there was a chance he'd be perfect after watching him through two?
I just liked the way he was throwing the ball. I like the angle. I like the fact that he was being able to spin it, even though he wasn't making great pitches every pitch. It just looked like he was going to get it, and he still got a chance for a really nice day. This is not the best lineup in the world to face. I mean, I thought that Buster Posey, of course, who's on deck, is the guy that he really would have to bear down against, but everybody else in this lineup looks like somebody that he could really eat their lunch.
Again, it's a collection of guys who have
found some hits.
Yeah, right. Who has struggled the least? Go get him.
Exactly.
Arroyo, one of the guys, though, that in a very small sample size has had some success. He jokingly attributed that to facing Kershaw many, many times before playing video games. Got his first career hit against Clayton. Ruggiano at first with one out. And Kershaw to the plate with an 0-2 after he throws over, and it's close because Ruggiano had his feet in quicksand for a moment there.
I mean, of their lineup, Buster Posey has the most at bats, of course, 95, and he was hitting 242 coming into the day.
This is against Kershaw?
Yeah, and the next most of the bats is Joe Panik at 24 at bats, and then everybody else is a very short sample size where they can all of a sudden put a couple numbers up. So give Clayton more opportunities against everybody else, and probably all the averages would be below Posey's.
Hooked it around the plate, ball one. Couple guys wearing number 22. Kershaw wears it because his favorite player growing up was Will Clark, rooting for the Texas Rangers. Well, Clark was playing there, and of course it was worn here in San Francisco by Clark. Big breaking ball rolled to short. There's one and two, and 4 innings facing the minimum for Clayton Kershaw. Does allow his first hit, but still pitching with a 3-0 lead.
Brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Get incredible deals on a fuel-efficient RAV4 hybrid.
We have Orioles stumped. Do we have you stumped at home? Who is this man? Lee Lacy.
Oh, yes.
Pinch hitting for Davey Lopes here and becoming the first player in big league history to homer in 3 consecutive pinch hit appearances. It was on this date in 1978.
I saw Lee Lacy at a Dodger cocktail party a couple years ago.
Cueto to Kershaw, leading off the 5th, strike 1.
Met his daughter that night. She was very nice. Yeah, that was Lee. The head tilt got me.
Kershaw floats one into left. Ruggiano runs it down for the first out. The base hit for Ruggiano against Kershaw on a day where you felt he had the stuff to be close to perfect. 65 on the exit velocity. Trying to find the numbers of how often a ball hit at 65 miles per hour is a hit. Haven't found that yet.
Bet you it's less than 20%.
Utley's ball that he hit to second in the 3rd inning was switched from an error to a hit. Came in to score the 3rd run. Cueto tails one in at the knees, strike 1. In the air to center. Gorkis Hernandez makes the catch.
A little bit of a reroute out there. Kind of broke in, made a little J route.
You know where you're really going to say about the 65-mile-per-hour exit velocity is if Kershaw keeps doing what he's doing, and that winds up being the only blemish.
So it's below 10% hit possibility?
No, I haven't found it yet.
Oh.
I'm just saying if he keeps this up, and that's all that happens against him today.
Oh, yeah.
1-0 on Corey Seager. Playing him well for this one. Joe Panik in short right throws him out. Johnny Cueto with his 2nd consecutive 1-2-3 inning.
'26 through Sunday, May 28th. The NLCS rematch against the Cubs will be the 2016 World Champions' only visit of the season to Los Angeles. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
Cubs are only 500 right now, 19-19, tied for 3rd in the Central with the Reds. Everybody chasing the Cardinals, who the Dodgers will face 7 times in a 10-game stretch coming up. Middle part of the order, Buster Posey looking at strike one.
Of the playoff teams last year, the Nats and the Dodgers are doing the best. Everybody else is right around 500 or below.
One ball and 1 strike on Posey. Popped out his first time on the first pitch that he saw from Kershaw. So an All-American shortstop at Florida State. A longtime Hall of Fame college coach there, Mike Martin, thought that they could better take advantage of his leadership abilities. Even though shortstop's a leadership spot, thought it could really be maximized if he was the catcher. Loses his bat, and the count is 2-2. So one day they said, Buster, why don't you give catching a try? Put the gear on, goes back, crouches down, catches a few pitches. And they said after 3 or 4 pitches, he looked like he had been catching his whole life. Biggest thing, though, is getting those legs strong enough to be able to go through a full game of catching. You don't think about kind of wear and tear that puts on your legs, squatting down for several hours, several times throughout the game. Oh, that'll pop up. Corey Seager at short, shading his eyes from the sun for the first out. So what did Buster do besides the obvious weightlifting routine and plenty of practice behind the plate? He would get into his catcher's crouch while he was watching TV at home in his dorm room. That's how he first developed that leg strength to be able to be a catcher.
In his generation, those knee savers that Yasmani wears, see how you can just sit on it right there by your thighs, so that takes pressure off the knees and definitely doesn't require quite as much strength nowadays. A lot more comfortable.
Michael Morris fouls off the first pitch, strike one.
Catchers' insteps and toes can start cramping on them if they don't stay hydrated because of all the pressure they have down there on their feet. And so really the pain and pressure has moved from the knees because of those knee savers down into their feet, which take the beating. There's nothing you can do to take the pressure off your weight down there.
Another pop, foul ground. Utley near the dugout, reaches in but can't get it. 0-2. Almost expect Chase to make plays like that, even though he's out of position.
Well, you know you're going to get a full effort no matter where he is on the field or what point of the game. We saw him get a hit because he kept running when they couldn't get the ball out of their glove at second base. But boy, oh boy.
Look at the effort from Goody over there to try and make sure that he had a soft landing.
The padding around the ballparks nowadays is much appreciated by the players. Little Rich Hill right there, Laredo style, down from the kid from Texas.
Curve yanked foul.
Best curveball Clayton's had all year. Not slipping out. He's not up there jumping up and down mad at himself because he didn't throw a good one. He's got it tighter and around the plate today.
That's his 4th strikeout of the day. Went to the slider to get it.
A good bite on this pitch right here. Most right-handed hitters will swing over the top of that pitch like Morris did.
Two up, two down in the 5th inning, and Mac Williamson to the plate. Kershaw for the first time today visibly and audibly upset with himself. So can you believe that 65% of similarly batted balls as the Ruggiano ball are hits?
Really?
1-1.
That's got to include launch angle. because then it makes it bloop over the infield and short of the outfielders. Because a ground ball hit at that speed, there's no way it's a hit.
1-2.
I'm just reacting, not knowing the facts.
And I gave you the fact that I have.
Yep.
Beyond that, try to look into it a little more, get you a better explanation. Mr. Hershiser.
Well, I'm just chewing on it because I thought a special day was brewing.
Well, he's looked pretty darn good. 5 strikeouts as he works a 1-2-3 fifth.
As the Miami Marlins series is concerned, we have a set rotation. Hyunjin Ryu will pitch in that first game, followed by the reigning National League Player of the Week, Alex Wood. Julio Urias has been announced for Saturday. Brandon McCarthy, guys, has been announced for Sunday. Of course, Monday is a much-needed day off. Clayton Kershaw back on his schedule, pitching on Tuesday.
All right, Alana. Justin Turner leading off this 6th inning against Cueto and ahead 2-0.
Very fast.
Turner pokes one into right, base hit. Leadoff single here in the 6th inning. Turner's 2nd hit of the day. The Dodgers, these 3 runs on 6 hits now against Cueto. Bellinger looking for his first of the day. Strike out his first time and then a line out. Takes ball 1. Oh, Little League World Series participant. His dad Clay coached his team. He was a second baseman then. They hit a home run in Williamsport. His baseball life goes way back. When he was 4 or 5 years old, he used to be running around the Yankees clubhouse with guys like Jeter and Rivera and Posada and Bellinger, all those guys in the clubhouse. 2-0. Said that his dad taught him everything he knows about baseball, but most importantly taught him to be respectful. And a home run count on a pretty calm day. Nothing like it was the first night of the series where the wind was howling and swirling Last night, very heavy air. Quick pitched him for a strike.
Little cutter right down the middle, but Cody just kind of blinking through that one. Dodgers with this 3-0 lead, and Clayton Kershaw dominating on the mound has kind of silenced this crowd.
Which has plenty of Dodger blue in it as usual. It's awesome. First night of this series. Pantone 294 here, about 1,000 people. Led to the best environment of the 3 games. That ball's ripped down the right field line. It's fair. Into the corner for Bellinger. Williamson digs it out. Turner stops at third on a double from Cody Bellinger. Second time he's done that against Cueto in their few games against each other. Yanking one into the corner for 2 bags.
Bellinger made out on off-speed pitches in the first at bat, and I think he was sitting on something soft that whole at bat. We watched him take a couple of fastballs that he normally hacks at. Learning very quickly on the job is Mr. Cody Bellinger.
So here's the latest chapter of Cueto and Grandal. Yasmani fouls off the first pitch, strike 1. We look at the Carl's cam. All started earlier when Cueto and Grandal had words with Grandal on second, likely about him trying to steal signs in Cueto's estimation. Then Cueto threw by his head. Discussion continued to the Dodger dugout, and the benches even emptied for a moment. Other than 2. So now it settles into a spot where it's less extracurricular and more you just really want to get the better of the classic hitter-pitcher matchup.
Yep. Cueto ahead right here because of the changeup. He knows Grandal wants to swing, and he's going to swing hard.
Does it, another change. That's booted by Morse. Throw to first just in time. And the runners hold, 1 out.
They boot the ball on purpose in spring training to practice a play like this, where the first baseman comes in, clanks it in spring training on purpose. Then you see if you can keep the timing with either the pitcher or the second baseman. It turns out to be a pretty classy play, even though it could have really hurt the Giants.
And no chance for Turner to think about coming home with the first baseman Morse coming in on that ball. Likely would have been dead to rights. Would have been gloved cleanly. 2 on, 1 out. Chris Taylor taking ball 1.
Chris has struck out looking twice, both on inside cutters. They've been running the fastball like that first pitch in on him, and then later in the count with 2 strikes have been throwing a front door cutter to him. I think that Chris will open up a little bit if they keep going in there. It looks like his stance is slightly open right here. Looking for something more on the inner half.
That's what he gets, but it's in, and he's ahead 2-0.
Little subtle adjustments, and Buster Posey might pick up on that. I know he watched Bellinger's feet during certain at bats.
Cueto listening to something from the third baseman Nunez. Back on top for a 2-0 pitch. Instead, we'll flip it over there. Well, we know what their discussion was about.
I'm going to pick off.
Taylor takes it. 3 balls, no strikes. First base open. Jock Peterson due next. And a 3-0 game in the 6th as the Dodgers try to end the Giants' season best 5-game winning streak, try to end their own season worst 3-game losing streak. Four-pitch walk, loads the bases. First free pass issued by Cueto, and up comes Jock.
This pretty much feels like the ball game, this situation here for the Giants. Clayton Kershaw on the mound dominating. Second best bullpen to the Chicago Cubs, backing up Mr. Kershaw as we watch the Giant bullpen start to get to work. It's Josh Osich towing it up down in the bullpen.
Turner and Bellinger both with hits after the Taylor walk. They are loaded for Jock Peterson, who's 1 for his last 14. Takes ball 1. That's 5 consecutive balls from Cueto. His pitch count is only in the low 80s, and he's gone well over 100 multiple times this year. I don't figure that he'd be tiring yet. Lost a little bit of the feel here in the 6th, and Peterson and the Dodgers trying to make it pay. Chased 1, 1-1.
Serious movement on that pitch. Ball is running. Got inside that with his index finger, put some pressure, and had that thing run away from the lefty.
What do you know about making a pitch do that?
Mine wasn't that good, but I could make it tail a little bit.
It did.
At times. Sandy Koufax gave me a great tip on how to make that ball run a little bit right at release, kind of get your head out of the way so you can pull your shoulder inside the ball.
2-1 on Peterson. Key spot in this game. Top of the 6th inning. Dodgers getting 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 3rd, but a golden opportunity against Cueto.
Jock has been cheating on his fastball throughout this game. If he's going to sit soft like Bellinger did and surprise him.
A pop up. That'll get to the seats. Count evens up 2-2.
Cueto threw him a little slider. A little out in front. Kind of like the pitch Yasmani dug out. Nice low slider that he hit his double with.
Jock's lone home run in his 2nd AB of the year. It was a grand slam. 4 of his 10 RBIs came on that one swing. Well, the base is loaded in the 6th, the 2-2. Tailing fastball just misses. Full count.
Take a look at pitch cast right here. This is close. Jock couldn't have done much with it if he swung the bat, so you might as well take it, and it was a ball.
What's coming here?
For almost anything. You come back with the same thing. You can go cutter in, you can go change up away, you can go slider down and in. Pretty much has shown him the kitchen sink, and he can throw it.
Got a round on it and pulled it into the seats.
Fastball right back in there. So close the last one. Cueto feels like he has the release point, and there's no way Jock can take another one if I get it close in there. Let's see where this one would have ended up. Pitchcast has that one as a strike.
Are you changing speeds now that he's that far out in front of a fastball?
You could. You don't want to turn the universe for him and throw him a fastball away, so that's about the only pitch I would eliminate if I'm Jock.
Here it comes. Fouled again.
And what did he throw? He threw him a fastball away.
He did.
Completely wrong. Sped him up twice inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that does come back with a fastball away. And boy, Jock was all over it. You not only watch foul balls as a pitcher and catcher, but you try and see what part of the bat it was fouled off by, and that was right on the barrel.
He's fouled off 4 pitches during the at-bat. 8th pitch coming from Cueto. And it got him. A changeup fades in at the knees for a huge second out.
So think about the fastballs tailing back, but a changeup tailed back even more. So Jock thinks this is a ball. That's why he is check swinging. But because it's a changeup, the spin takes over at a much greater value, and it comes back double.
So it's put onto the shoulders of Puig. Strike 1.
Johnny Cueto is really blowing his neck out there to try and save any opportunity the Giants have to come back in this game. It's going to be a tall task against Kershaw, but he's got a chance to get him in the dugout.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Puig is 0 for 2 today, but he's put some good swings on it.
He looks much better. The deep fly ball to center, frustration. A line out to short, frustration. A line out, or not out, but foul down the line.
Be easy to forget those if he can come through here. Missed his spot, but over the plate, 1 and 2.
Three fastballs. Yasiel must be looking for something else.
That's a base hit to left field. Turner's in to score. Bellinger will score as well. Yasiel Puig delivers a 2-out, 2-run single.
Cueto and Posey did really not change their pattern. They decided they're going to try and get him out with the fastball. That's where they started him. That's where they went again at 93. Missed the spot at 93 over the plate and never go off speed. Every pitch 93 miles an hour. Never went to his changeup, never went to his slider. Yasiel did a nice job digging that one out and getting in the air. Even gives his bat a little tap of congratulations as he saunters over there to first.
And almost bigger than in the picture of this game. So big for his confidence as he takes off, runs to second. And 2 men in scoring position for Kershaw. Puig has not been the best hitter in those situations throughout his career. So for him to come through when he was behind in the count against a guy that has dominated him, and somebody whose emotions swing the way that Yasiel's do, be interesting to see how he's able to build off that. 2 balls, no strikes on Kershaw.
I know Turner Ward will be excited about that hit, not only because it produced runs and he's the hitting coach, but Yasiel will give him another subject and a reminder that he is doing well with all the work that he's putting in.
Three and 0.
I could see Bruce Bochy saying this is his last hitter. Cueto is definitely their ace right now. This is going to turn out to be a loss. You don't want to put the pitches on his arm that are unnecessary.
It's his 98th, and it's strike 1. Dodgers 5 runs on 8 hits against Cueto. Full count. So 8 hits match a season high that Cueto's allowed. The 5 runs, 1 short of a season high. Kershaw protects it barely. Now we'll do the 3-2 again.
Oh, in some ways, if you're Clayton, you can just start your swing as soon as you want and not even worry about if the ball's going to be a ball or strike. He knows Johnny Cueto has good command. He knows that he wants to throw him a strike and not face Utley. So right there, Clayton took a huge cut.
Fouls another.
That's not a pitcher with a two-strike approach right there. Clayton knows he's getting the cheese and he's trying to hit it.
This is one short, by the way, of the most runs Cueto's allowed in this ballpark. Gave up 6 3 times last year. Winds up getting Kershaw, and the inning is over. But Yasiel Puig comes through with a big single, scoring 2 with 2 out. At LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger, only at Carl's Jr. Clayton Kershaw masterful in this one and pitching with a 5-0 lead. Here is our turn the channel graphic, but don't. It's fun watching him. 89-0 when he gets 4+ runs of support in his career. Hello, Alana.
Hello, guys. And naturally, that stat that looks like it could only be true in a video game comes up quite often. If this holds, he'll be 90-0 and getting at least 4 runs of support. He was just asked about that stat, 89-0 at the time in Denver. If he even has a concerted effort or is on his mind, he said, "You know what? I think if I get 4 runs of support, it's a game that I should win." Very Clayton Kershaw-like answer.
Bottom part of the order for him in this inning. Joe Panik taking a strike. The only hit of the day was a 65-mile-per-hour soft line drive hit by Justin Ruggiano. Not just the only hit, but the only base runner. Ball and a strike on Panik. Got a little more explanation of why 65% of the time that would be a base hit. Basically, balls that are hit at 65 miles per hour with that launch angle, which was 20 degrees, they're going to be Texas Leaguers a lot of the time. It's 2-1.
So it is in combination with the Texas Leaguer. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's exit velocity combined with the launch angle.
Yeah.
Panik carves it out. Justin Turner makes the play. The ball got on him in a hurry with the sun making it a little bit more difficult. 1 out. Gorkis Hernandez. Grounded to third his first time. Hitless in his last 13 tries. Last hit came 2 weeks ago. Quickly 0-2. This Giants offense before Sunday and Monday was by far the worst in the National League, but then they had 8 runs on Sunday. Did it again Monday, both matching their biggest output of the year. Still in the bottom part of baseball in runs per game. Fastball driven in the air. Foul ground down the right field line. Long run for everybody, and nobody gets there.
Chris Taylor had the best shot at this one. And as he has an angle on it, looks like he gets there. It just ends up going behind him. So many things going through your mind there. You got the warning track, the wall. You see how Puig closing in on you. Chase Utley was giving it a run.
Curve floated to center. Jock Peterson, 2 out. Boy, you weren't far off, my man, when you said that it's had a chance to be a special day.
Just needed Ruggiano's ball to be hit as hard as that one. Maybe about 80 miles an hour. It would have been an out.
Nick Hundley to pinch hit. So Cueto's day officially over.
A little blooper takes Dave Roberts a little bit off the hook as far as making a decision on pitch count, maybe down in the 8th and 9th inning for Clayton Kershaw.
Ball one on Hundley, one of the offseason additions for the Giants. Really, they just made 2. Mark Melancon and this guy. Veteran backup catcher to Posey. Former Rocky taking low, and it's 2-0. Kershaw again shouting at himself. On the day where he has 5 Ks, hasn't walked anybody. And he's back in the count at 3-1.
Clayton does a lot of shadow work on the mound in between starts, where without a ball he will go through his delivery, stand there, peer in like he's picking up a sign, and then go through his rhythm as he peers over the glove. And there's nobody else in the bullpen when he does it. No catcher, nobody, all by himself. When he falls behind 3-0, I'm sure he just defaults to that. Visualizes the pitch exactly where he wants it, goes through the shadow work, builds that muscle memory and that discipline. You would think after all the Cy Youngs and the MVP and the ERA titles that he could get a little complacent, but no.
Hundley pulls one that Seager can't get. Second hit of the day, and the second softly hit single of the day for the Giants.
Going to be the same exit velocity as Ruggiano's hit.
Yeah.
And you know, the ones that are 65 miles an hour, they turn into Texas Leaguers just over the infielder and short of the outfielder.
Yeah, it was just about identical.
Was it really?
Well, at least to the eye test. And then, yep, confirmed by StatCast, 67 miles per hour.
Oh.
Major league averages in the high 80s. Eduardo Nunez pokes one right at Chris Taylor, who feeds the bag to finish the inning. hard hit is 95 and above, and the 2 hits against Kershaw, 65 and 67 teardrops. Nothing game here in the 7th. Who's in, who's out, brought to you by In and Out. 8th appearance for Osich. Gave up 2 runs to the Dodgers in the series opener. And he replaces Johnny Cueto. Nick Hundley pinch hit last inning, stays in and catches. That moves Buster Posey to first. Justin Ruggiano slides over to center, and Michael Morris goes to left. Corcus Hernandez, the man in the order that gets replaced. Kike Hernandez pinch hitting for the Dodgers here in the 7th inning. The left-hander on the mound now. Kike batting for Utley. The top of the order. Seager and Turner to follow. 1 ball and 1 strike. Utley goes 1 for 3 today. Scores a run. One and 2.
Chase been hitting the ball hard, and today caught a break with a ground ball to second that was caught. Couldn't get it out of his glove. Gets a hit. Hitters will tell you that they don't all even out. Neither will the pitchers, though. Oh, don't worry about it. It'll even out. No, it won't.
Hung over the plate, hit foul, still 1 and 2. And the native of Puerto Rico, Kike Hernandez. Enrique Kike Hernandez.
His batting average starting to get up there. 243 on the climb. Chase Utley, who he's hitting for, is bumping up against 200. He has raised his average about 100 points in that death spiral he was in for a while.
Bangs it hard into the ground. Christian Arroyo waits on it, fields it, and throws him out for the first out of the 7th. And we check in with Alana.
Osich, the first reliever for the Giants, the Dodgers have seen today, and hopefully they won't see this next guy, but the Giants do have him back in their bullpen. Right-handed pitcher Mark Melancon, their closer, off of the 10-day disabled list with that mild right pronator strain. Infielder Kelby Tomlinson was optioned to AAA Sacramento. Of course, Melancon, a big offseason signing to try to rectify this dismal bullpen from last season.
All right, Alana, and part of the injury issues the Giants have had here this year. Corey Seager climbs in, and Osich turns him away with a breaking ball. It's 1-0. The Giants last year Blown saves were a big part of the problem when they had one of the worst records in baseball down the stretch. They blew 30 saves in 75 opportunities. It's the most in baseball in 12 years. 2 balls, no strikes.
Shatters your record and shatters your confidence as a team, because you never know when this game is in the books, and so you feel terrible. It's crushing to your morale.
Two balls, 1 strike. Melanson, #1 in baseball in saves over the last 3 years. And he was sitting at home on his couch watching the Giants melt down in Game 4 of the NLDS. The final one of those blown saves. Minutes after free agency began, his phone rang, and it was San Francisco. Ball 3.
Dodgers very secure in that department for a long time to come now with Kenley Jansen, the way he's throwing the ball, the all-time Dodger save leader past Eric Gagne last year.
Full count on Seager. That's a good spot to have locked down long term for the blood pressure.
Kenley has been really good for the blood pressure too. Always been effective, but now is very efficient and has got his pitch count so under control that Dave Roberts can bring him in for 4-out saves now. He can pitch back-to-back and maybe even 3 days in a row, I would say.
Good take from Seager for a 1-out walk.
Great Dodger moments. Coin collection presented by 76 continues tomorrow versus the Marlins. The first 40,000 fans in attendance at the 7-10 game will receive the 3rd coin commemorating Clayton Kershaw's no-hitter, which I thought he had a shot at today. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Hyun-Jin Ryu for the Dodgers tomorrow. Here's Justin Turner, another 2-hit day for him. Goes after the first one, and a pop fly into shallow center. Ruggiano for out number 2. Edinson Volquez counters for the Marlins tomorrow. On Friday, it'll be Justin Nicolino and Alex Wood. Saturday, Dan Straley, Julio Urias. And the Marlins have not announced their starter for Sunday, when Brandon McCarthy will go for the Dodgers. Marlins really struggling. Dropped 12 of their last 14. They sit at 14-24. Just a touch better than San Diego, the bottom of the cellar in the National League. Bellinger 1 for 3, doubled and scored last inning.
Increase that May RBI lead now with 19 in May.
Did you give him Puig's RBIs?
Did I? Did he not?
I think he
did he get 2? Oh, okay. I apologize. Just a baseball player.
2-0. Fly ball to left. Morse is back on it, running out of room at the wall. He lunges and it bangs off the wall. Seager's in to score on Bellinger's 2nd double of the day. You just had a premonition that he was about to add to the RBI total.
Yeah. He likes hitting the ball to Morris. The last time, though, lined out to him when Morris was at first, just absolutely blistered the ball. This one, he almost gets all of it, just a little bit under it. And Morris, he just kind of circles it, and the wind, the sun, all of it.
Right off the car's face.
We've been relating him to a cartoon character. Now we got a ball hit to him by the cartoons.
Runner at second, 2 gone, and Grandal takes strike 1. That ball's ripped down the left field line, but hooks foul, and it's 0-2. Good to see Cody with a couple of doubles today. He's hitless in his first 7 ABs of this series and had been slumping some on the trip. A lot of strikeouts, just 1 today. And those 2 doubles, scoring a run and driving in a run.
He's been shouldering a lot of the offensive weight, moving up into the 4 hole, playing almost every day.
Grandal again down the left field line, foul. It's his first off day yesterday, at least out of the starting lineup. He still came in and played. It was one of the longest streaks without a day out of the starting lineup to open a career in LA Dodger history.
It's a good right-handed bat for Yasmani Grandal, something that he struggled with last year. One of the reasons that the Dodgers didn't do well against left-handed starters. Worked really hard on this wing over the offseason. Has had some really good batting practices lately from this side. Hearing a lot of compliments from the coaches as he hits in the cage.
Osich gets him with a changeup, and the inning is over. We stretch in San Francisco after Cody Bellinger plates one with a double. Clayton Kershaw, only 2 softly hit singles against him today over 6 innings. Batting 5, still's not giving up a run. And the Dodgers giving him plenty of support. A 6-0 lead as he gets ready to go back out for the 7th.
You Summarize Clayton today like you would his career. Great. Consistently great.
Kike stays in. That moves Bellinger from left to first. Ruggiano had the first hit of the day for San Francisco. It came back in the fourth. He takes ball one here. A pop-up. Bellinger immediately tested at his new spot, but instead it's Chris Taylor going out to make the catch. All three guys involved in that one, but Chris has it, one out. Got a little more perspective for you on the hit probability. We mentioned that 65% of balls that are hit like that, similar exit velocity, similar launch angle, are hits. But when you just look at the exit velocity on the two hits against Kershaw, the league batting average on balls hit like that are only 238.
Yeah.
Christian Arroyo bangs the first one he sees to Chris Taylor, who time and again has been positioned well. Two out.
This might be the hardest hit ball off of Clayton Kershaw today. We really haven't seen a line out. Seen some routine fly balls, the ground balls.
Posey's twice popped out. A fastball, strike one. Quickly 0-2. Ball one. Did he just mix in a changeup there?
He did. He throws it less than 3% of the time. I think he only throws it when he's ahead in the count. But he is slowly trying to put that in the mix. Good luck, league, if he gets the hang of that one.
Posey flips one to left center. It's in, a base hit. Two out single for Buster Posey here in the seventh.
One hard hit ball, the line out to Chris Taylor. The at bat before this one, Buster Posey just serves this out there like a tennis player. Finds the gap. And all the hits off of Clayton Kershaw, this being the third one, have not been very hard at all. That one probably, this is the other two. There's one that he gave up. Boy, it barely reached the outfield grass. And here's another one. Oh. So close to a historic day, but now going after the shutout.
It's a ball on Morse. 88 pitches for Kershaw. He's gone over 104 times out of his first 8 starts this year. Morse pops it up. Center field, Jock Peterson. And 7 shutout innings for Clayton Kershaw. On to the 8th in San Francisco.
Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Clayton Kershaw smiles in the dugout. It looks like he may be finished after 7 innings with the interactions we're seeing down there. He's thrown 89 pitches, but he was finished after 7, having only thrown 85 pitches in Colorado earlier on this trip.
He could be up 6-3 if you count the Giants get a run if you reach first base. That's all that he gave up. 3 guys reached first. Nobody reached second base.
Strike 1 on Chris Taylor from the new Giants pitcher Brian Morris.
Fastball slider predominantly. Average fastball around 92, 93. The guy warming up in the Dodger bullpen averages around 97 miles an hour. That's Pedro Baez.
Taylor smacks one on a bounce to second. Joe Panic gets a hustling Taylor for the first out of the 8th. Jock 0 for 3 in this one. Struck out with the bases loaded in the 6th, and he was bailed out by Yasiel Puig, following him with a 2-run single. 2 in the first, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th for the Dodgers today, after they totaled 5 runs over the first 2 games. Peterson turns on the first pitch and sends it into the seats. It's 0-1. Morris in his 6th season with the Pirates and the Marlins, now in his first year with the Giants. Changes speeds 0-2. Giants are able to sign him to a minor league contract because he had a bad foot, fractured his foot, and so didn't have any other offers out there. But he's been good, well above average over his first 5 seasons. Bounces over Peterson's feet, ball 1. He gets Peterson swinging 2 away. And up comes Yasiel Puig. Look at our Arco top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco. His 2-run single that came with 2 outs and 2 strikes against Cueto.
Hitting the ball all day to the left side of the diamond, keeping the ball in the air. And looking like what he's working on is starting to give him some production.
Goes after the first one from Morris. It's a high drive into deep center. Ruggiano back to make the catch and end the inning. Dodgers down in order against the former Dodger first rounder Brian Morris. 6-0 middle 8.
Coming up next, Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan. John Hartung, Nomar Garcia-Parra, and eventually Ned Colletti are going to break this one down. 7 shutout innings from Clayton, just giving up the 3 softly hit balls. And how about the run support from the guys in the 5 to 9 position in the order? Yesterday, 0 for 18. Today, 4 RBIs.
Not a bad day from the bottom of the order with a 6-0 advantage. And Pedro Baez on to try and keep the Giants scoreless. Bottom part of the order, it's Mac Williamson. Struck out both times against Kershaw, and he starts him with an 85-mile-per-hour pitch. Strike 1. His secondary stuff has been much more of a factor this year.
Sure has, and it's going to catapult him into the elite relievers. Has always had top shelf velocity. Back-to-back off-speed pitches right there, and no better game for Pedro than a 6-0 game in the 8th to start to work and bring along that secondary stuff. You're always looking for places to experiment a little bit.
And then delivers a fastball that's hit softly to Turner for the first out. Working him over on 3 pitches. Find out if you're a Dodger good luck charm. Purchase a 5-game weekend plan starting at only $20 a ticket. And then if the Dodgers win all 5 games you pick, you'll win 2 free tickets to Fan Appreciation Day in September. Go to Dodgers.com/mini plans to learn more about this one. So now it's Panic. And Joe last year had the worst season of his major league career. A lot of that had to do with the injuries he dealt with. Had a groin injury early. Then he was hit in the head by a pitch from Matt Moore when Moore was with Tampa Bay and suffered a concussion. First one hit foul. And the effects on his vision stemming from that concussion, he thought, led to the poor numbers. Did a lot of work to improve his vision, get some strength back in his eyes, because the eyeballs do lose some strength in those situations. And with the eye exercises, got his vision back to 100% this offseason. That said, the number's even worse so far this year for Panic. It's in his 4th major league year now. Former first-round pick out of St. John's in New York. One and two.
Back-to-back off-speed pitches for the first hitter, and right there, back-to-back changeup. Yasmani Grandal calling for Pedro Baez.
Two and two.
Pedro actually shook twice to get to that off-speed pitch, so he's wanting to work on it. If you're in high leverage situations, normally where the game is on the line, it's really hard to bring pitches along. You look for counts, you look for situations where you can miss in a good spot so you can get used to using it in competition. But every count and every batter, you can use them right now with a 6-0 lead in the 8th. All of a sudden, all the lefties are a little braver now to come out of the dugout and play. Clayton's out of the game.
Panic back to the mound. Pedro knocks it down, throws him out, 2 away. Yeah, you can see him peeking out of the shadows.
Yeah, like, oh,
he's gone.
Is he gone? Pedro getting a little laugh on that comebacker, and I'm sure Cody Bellinger appreciates that he didn't just panic and pick up that ball and blaze it over there to first. Just eased it on over.
Brandon Crawford pinch hitting here in the 8th inning with the Dodgers in front 6-0. Giant shortstop. His return to the lineup after missing 2 weeks with a groin injury has been a big part of how the Giants have turned it around as of late. Winning 5 in a row. Crawford not setting the world on fire offensively, but his presence in the lineup, both just in the batting order and then defensively at short, his leadership in the dugout in that role has been big for him. Goes after the first one, and a ground ball that Chris Taylor gobbles up to finish off a 1-2-3-8 for Pedro Baez. On to the ninth. Some emotion in the early stages of this one today. Saw the benches cleared for a moment. Yasmani Grandal and Johnny Cueto weren't the best of friends on this beautiful afternoon, with the Dodgers lead 6-0, and Corey Guerin comes in for the ninth.
Fastball slider change, predominantly just the fastball and the slider to righties. He'll add the changeup when a lefty comes up, but the first two hitters here in the ninth will be Mr. Gutierrez pinch hitting and Kike Hernandez on deck.
Franklin hitting .321. Limited at bats, partly because he typically only plays against left-handers, partly because he spent a month on the DL with a hamstring pull. Takes strike one.
Sergio Romo loosening up in his old home ballpark. Now wearing the blue.
Crack bat roller to short. Arroyo throws Gutierrez out for the first out. So this road trip ends when this game ends. Dodgers hop on the plane, head back to Los Angeles to open up a 10-game homestand. Marlins are in starting tomorrow night for 4, and then an off day Monday. 3 with the Cardinals, 3 with the Cubs. I hope that they could take care of business against the Marlins and set up a week that'll be a good measuring stick for the Dodgers. Kike takes inside, ball 1. Already faced off with the Cubs this year, dropped 2 of 3 in Chicago, but they've not seen the Cardinals yet. And the Cardinals are in first in the Central. The quarter pole kind of snuck up on me. I don't know about you, but this is game 41.
Not a bad start. Right in it. They wouldn't feel real good about the 3-game losing streak, but they would feel real good about their horse today. Giving them 7 shutout innings, and the offense waking up, scoring more runs today than they did in the first 2 games. 4 in game 1 with a loss, and 1 yesterday. So close to a really good road trip.
Yeah.
The last game in Colorado, they could have won 3 out of 4 after losing game 1 there. These games here in San Francisco have been tight, especially yesterday, 2-1. And at the quarter pole, if they can learn to win the 1-run games, I think they're 3-7 in 1-run games.
Yeah, I hadn't checked that in a while. Let's see where it is in all of baseball, because it's near the bottom. Kike down, swinging, 2 out. And the reason that's worth taking a look at is because typically teams that are really, really good in 1-run games are going to see the records come back to earth some, and vice versa. Teams that are really bad in 1-run games, you can expect some correction back towards the norm and a little bit of an improvement of the pace. 2 out, bases empty, and Corey Seager.
Dave Roberts in his media scrum today exactly addressed that and talked about how they just need to get better, and his quote was, "We've got to find a way to win those games."
Second worst in the National League. 28th out of the 30 teams in baseball. You said it, 3-7. The Rockies are still unbeaten in 1-run games. They are 9-0. Nobody else is better than 8-5. Seager hits it down the left field line, foul, and it's 1-1. So again, what that would tell you sabermetrically is that you figure the Rockies are playing a little bit above their heads, and that's reflected in their Pythagorean wins and losses. Overall, they're 25-15, but when you take the run differential into account, that says the record should be about 21-19. 2-1.
4 less loss or wins. And how about the Dodgers?
So the Dodgers' actual record 22-18. Their Pythagorean record 25-15.
We just got to start that other league.
Yeah, right. The parallel universe. Dodgers have the best record in baseball. Seager to left. Michael Morris is there. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning in a 6-0 game. Dodgers looking for their second shutout of this road trip. Sergio Romo will be on to try and finish it.
By Land Rover, above and beyond.
Sergio Romo got such a warm reception when he made his return here to San Francisco. First time the Dodgers were in town this year. And it has been a bit of a perplexing year for him with an ERA above 8 as he comes on for the 17th time in a comfortable spot with a 6-0 lead, needing 3 outs to end it.
So much success in this ballpark for Sergio. He has to have a really good feeling. That ERA at 8, but maybe he can find some life and some comfort in this ballpark to get him on a roll.
Nick Conley, the batter, to lead off the 9th inning, and Sergio spins a slider nowhere close, ball 1. So just to continue on that discussion we were having about the Pythagorean record and comparing that to actual records. So Baseball Reference has a category that they call luck, and I know you disagree with this some. That's a strike, 1-1. But when you look at it as that's just the name of this category, it's not necessarily the definition of luck. I think it's easier to look at this. Anyways, Colorado, according to this category, the luckiest team in baseball, meaning the biggest difference in their actual record from what their run differential says their record should be. It's 1-2. Dodgers on the total other end of that spectrum, the bottom of the luck category, meaning they have a -3 from their actual record.
I'm with you.
Okay. And Hundley down swinging. Romo has that slider working for the first out. I know probably there's some people saying, "Oh, I'm saying, what did he just say?" But really, we're just talking difference in the actual record from what the run differential on the season says a team's record should be.
So as you build the Stratomatic card for the Rockies and the Stratomatic card for the Dodgers, and you take the little spinner and you spin it around to see where it lands, it's been unlucky for the Dodgers, and it's been very lucky for the Rockies, because in the computer generated games and the Stratomatic type games where they just put it down there as numbers and you spin and you randomly get something, the Dodgers haven't had much luck, but statistically are much better than Colorado. Does that take the park differentials in there too, where they play? I bet you it does.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's just strictly off of run differential.
Just run differential.
Yeah. Because both teams are playing in the park in a given game, obviously.
Right. Remember earlier in the year, I would say, let's say 15, 17 games in, we saw like the Dodgers either kill somebody or lose by 1 run. So I wonder how it accounts then, you know, for those 10-1 wins, and then next day you lose 2-1.
Well, that's a definition of unlucky in baseball. You know, where you've scored those runs is in an unlucky bunch. 1-2 on Eduardo Nunez, and he hits one hard down the left field line to break up the shutout. First home run of the season for Nunez.
Well, we've used this term before, a cement mixer. You think of back of a cement truck as the back of it goes round and round, but it never moves, and that's what that does right there. It just spins round and round, turning the cement, but it never moves.
Now Justin Ruggiano, and Romo misses for the first one. Third homer Romo's allowed this year in his 12 2/3. Ruggiano dumps it back, 1-1. Romo in a full season has never allowed more than 9 home runs. He's already given up 3 this year. Had a Ruggiano 1-2. Home run rate this year about double what it's been his entire career. Little cue shot wide of the bag. It stays at 1-2. 7:10 tomorrow night. Back at Dodger Stadium. Volquez for the Marlins. Ryu for the Dodgers. Giants from here take off for St. Louis. Off tomorrow, then a 3-game series with the Cardinals opening on Friday. Count evens on Ruggiano.
Dodgers will gain a half a game on chasing the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Rockies play later tonight against Minnesota.
Strike 3 called, and the Giants down to their final out on Romo's second K of the night. Dodgers getting started quickly against Cueto in this one. Grandal drove in 2 with a 2-out double in the first. They got a run in the third. That came with 2 outs as well. It's a ball on Christian Arroyo. 2 more 2-out runs in the 6th, then a Yasiel Puig single. And then yet another 2-out run in the 7th. So all 6 runs for the Dodgers coming with 2 outs today. That finds the corner. 1-1 on Arroyo. So you're going to be in studio the next few days, huh?
I will be. Down there in El Segundo. Little commute from my home in Pasadena.
One and two.
Nice response by the Dodgers today to that tough loss last night. Quick turnaround and 3-game losing streak. Come out here in this beautiful weather and have your ace on the mound. Jump on the back of Clayton Kershaw, get him some runs and get a W and get home.
Going to be a 3-4 trip. Bouncing ball to third. Justin Turner across his body to finish the Giants off 6-1.
Clayton now with an ERA of 2.15, second in the National League. Leads the league in innings pitched and leads them in W's with 7 now.
And he's our Lexus player of the game. Behind Dallas Keuchel with those 7 wins across all of baseball. Going 7 innings in this one. Second time on this trip that he goes 7 full. And puts the Dodgers to 23-18. Finishing this road trip off on a high note. Plenty of support as well today against Johnny Cueto. A 6-1 final score. For Earl Hershiser, Alana Rizzo, the rest of our crew. Joe Davis saying so long from AT&T Park. Access Sportsnet brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers will begin right now. The Dodgers head home to open up a 10-game homestand tomorrow.